Hey guys, how's it going? This is BillyEatWorld and today I'm back with another DMR review. So if you've watched any of my previous BF4 videos, you'd have no doubt realised I'm a big fan of precision weapons, and in particular the DMR class. Unfortunately, the stats of some of the weapons in this class are pretty average to say the least, but I think anyone that's used the SKS would agree it's probably one of the best weapons in the class. The SKS is actually one of the oldest weapons in game, as it was designed in 1943, and it really shouldn't be referred to as a designated marksman rifle, as it isn't particularly renowned for its accuracy. It's interesting that the SKS is part of BF4 at all, as although it's still in service by some countries today, it's not used by any of the countries playable in-game, and by modern standards it's considered obsolete. In any case, in-game the SKS is a great weapon which holds its own admirably against much more advanced weapons. So looking at the stats of this weapon, it's pretty easy to see it's best suited for close to mid-range gunfights, which means that out of all of the DMRs, it's probably the most useful on any map for aggressive play. The SKS's biggest advantage is that it has the fastest rate of fire in the class at 333 RPM, making it probably the only DMR capable of going toe-to-toe with automatic weapons in close quarters. In addition, it has a very manageable recoil with an upwards recoil of 0.35, a 0.3 pull to the left and a 0.3 pull to the right. It's not exactly a laser beam, but compared to the other DMR weapons, it's definitely a lot easier to control. The SKS's reload time isn't bad, but it's slower than most of the other DMRs, with a tactical reload time of 2.3 seconds and an empty reload time of 3.5 seconds. The weapon has a decent 21 round capacity, and as the DMR weapons only take a few shots to kill a target, as long as you're not mag dumping all the time and you're consistently hitting this tactical reload, you shouldn't be caught out too often. The biggest issue with this rifle is that its damage model drops off to its minimum damage at a significantly shorter range than other DMRs. Its maximum damage is 40, which starts dropping off at 8 meters to its minimum damage of 28 at 60 meters. This translates into a 3-bullet kill out to around 40 meters and a 4-bullet kill at anything beyond that. This limits the SKS to much shorter engagements than other DMRs, which fortunately it's better suited to anyway. Attachments for this weapon really should reflect its capability at short to mid-range, so steer clear of high-power scopes on this weapon. Any one-time sight should be fine, but it might be better to pick either the coyote or the red dot sight for this weapon, as the small red dot in the centre of the sight will help you to be more precise. Although it's not as accurate as other DMRs, even at over 50 meters, the SKS will be shooting very tight groups, so it's important to use a sight like this to know exactly where your shots are going to be landing. The only drawback with these sights is their tendency to be less visible against bright backgrounds or sources of light, so make sure you also bear in mind the map when choosing a sight for this weapon. The recoil of the SKS isn't enough of a problem that you can't manage it, even when firing as fast as possible, so the muzzle brake and compensator aren't really good choices for this weapon. You'd be better off running with a heavy barrel to increase your accuracy at range and using recoil control to compensate for the added upwards recoil. A suppressor is also a great attachment for using this weapon to flank your enemy, as it has the magazine capacity to kill 7 enemy players, assuming you can land every shot. This can be a great setup for recon players in rush games when locking down an enemy spawn from behind can help your team to move up and take objectives. To make use of the SKS's higher rate of fire, a stubby or potato grip is a great choice for this weapon, as it'll reduce the spread of each additional shot. As you'll most likely be engaging a lot of close-range targets, the laser sight or the tactical light will also both be great attachments for this weapon. Now, we've talked a lot about this weapon's handling at close range, because ultimately this is where you're going to get killed by most other players with automatic weapons, but in actual fact, like any of the other DMRs, this weapon is best suited for mid-range targets. If you're intending on taking out only close-range targets, choose something other than a DMR, but if you want to reach out and touch an enemy at longer ranges while still being able to hold your own in close quarters, then the SKS is a great alternative. Like any DMR, the trick to mastering the SKS is to learn to manage your rate of fire. The SKS is capable of shooting a lot faster than other DMRs, but this doesn't mean you should spam it all of the time. When trying to engage targets at mid to long range, make sure you're letting your weapon settle before taking the next shot so you're still maintaining your minimum ADS spread. Also, it's important to preferably take on targets at mid-range and to flank targets if possible, because this is where you're going to have an advantage. Don't be afraid to reposition or let a target go if need be, because there are plenty of weapons that'll kill you much quicker at other ranges. Be smart and don't give them the option, because you're much more useful to your team alive than dead. Once again, like all of the other DMRs, this isn't a weapon for beginners, so if you haven't had much experience with the other weapons in this class, expect to get owned a lot as you learn how to use this gun. Fortunately, this is a relatively early unlock, and being that it's a pretty forgiving weapon to use, it's a good choice to learn how to master the DMR weapons. Just bear these tips in mind, and I'm sure you're going to have a great time using the SKS. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please like, comment and subscribe, and make sure to check out my other BF4 videos. I'll be back soon with some more BF4 videos, so if you'd like me to review a particular weapon, or you'd like to suggest a loadout for me to run with in an upcoming video, please let me know in the comment section below. So until next time guys, have a good one.